Welcome to Brilliantly British. My name is Lawrence and today I'm going to show you how to make something that is arguably a delicacy of the North. It is chips, cheese and gravy. It is something that is often had at the end of a night out. It's really simple and easy to make. So in that chair of yours, sit back, relax and enjoy this episode. For today's Brilliantly British chips, cheese and gravy, you'll need the following ingredients in front of me here. You'll need some potatoes, you'll need some mushrooms, some chopped celery, some chopped onions, a grated carrot, some cheddar cheese. You will need some homemade butter. If you don't know how to make your own, follow the link up there. You will need some plain flour, some Marmite and some Worcestershire sauce, some salt and some pepper. That's it. But it's not it. What you also need is to have a drink at hand to stay hydrated whilst you cook. And as a Brit, I'd say switch on your kettle and make yourself a nice cup of hot tea. Wait. You will also need a deep fat fryer to fry your chips in. If you don't have one of these, alternatively, you can use a heavy bottomed pot or a cast iron pot like the one I've got here. Just before we start cooking, hold your horses. A very important step that you shouldn't miss is taking your cheese out of the fridge. It's important when making this dish to actually bring the cheese out of the fridge and allow it to come up to room temperature. It will help it to melt better when it comes in contact with your hot, crispy chips later on. With the cheese advice given, in a pan over a high heat, begin to fry celery, onions, carrots and mushrooms until they dry and have darkened in colour. With the vegetables and mushrooms sufficiently fried, add 3 splashes of hot water to dissolve the caramelized sugars that have developed in the pan. After this, add a heaped teaspoon of Marmite using hot water to dissolve it. Oh, and you are now permitted to enjoy the aromas radiating from the pan. Continue to add splashes of hot water until you notice the development of a syrup in the pan. At this point, add some Worcestershire sauce and again, please take the time to enjoy the aromas, without forgetting to taste, of course. Continue to fry without stirring until a fond starts to develop and stick to the bottom of your pan. By the way, this natural caramelization process is actually what will give your gravy a deep, dark flavour. It is at this point you'll need to fill the pan with water and then allow it to simmer whilst covered over a very low heat. Whilst we're preparing our gravy, I'm going to show you how to make your own homemade chips, which are a lot thicker to us in the UK than French fries and are actually a lot healthier because they absorb a lot less oil. Simply cut them into chunks about the same size as what you can see on screen now, and then put them in a container or a bowl ready for the next step. Chips chopped. Now, what I must say is that the enemy to a good, crisp, crunchy chip is moisture. So the next thing to do is to get yourself some paper towels or just a towel like the one I've got here, and then pour out your chips on top of it and dry them and leave them to sit on top of the paper until you are ready to fry them. This way, the exterior will have been completely dried and this will give you the best result when frying your chips. At this point, switch on your fryer or pot of oil to begin heating up before mixing some softened butter with some flour to form a paste. Then lay the paste to one side within reach. As you know, this has been simmering away for some time now and will be ready to be passed through a sieve, yielding this gorgeous looking stock, which you'll need to return to your pan before stirring in your butter paste over a medium-high heat. Once the paste is dissolved, with some finesse, season your gravy whilst whisking regularly until it begins to boil. The gravy will now begin to thicken, and once it has reached your desired consistency, turn the heat right down to the most gentle of simmers. And that's it. The gravy is now ready to serve, so now would be a good time to cook the chips. Okay, with the oil at the correct temperature, gently lower your chips into the hot oil to begin frying. As they fry, every now and again give them a shake to keep them separate. Once they've bronzed up and are cooked through, place them on a wire rack to drain for a minute or two, giving you just enough time to grate your cheese. To assemble this dish, first lay the chips, then sprinkle on your cheese, before covering with lashings of gravy. Repeat this process until you've used all of your chips, then finally place your dish under a grill to melt the cheese, or use a blowtorch if you have one. To cap everything off, cover once more with lashings of gravy. That's it. Tasting! Guys, for me, honestly, this dish was a pleasure to make. And honestly, as I speak to you now, I can't wait to dig in. So I'm gonna stop talking and I'm gonna get tasting. Here we go, guys. 3, 2, 1. Oh man, guys, oh man. Wow. This is nothing short of incredible. Honestly, this is one of the best things I've ever had. As you very well know, this is something that ought to be a cure for a hangover, but I'm telling you this, you have this for dinner, for lunch. You won't need a hangover to enjoy it. I promise you that. It is delicious. And like you've seen now, it is so easy to make. I've had a blast making it, pun intended. Honestly, at home, it'll be much easier, much simpler for you to make because you won't have to faff around with a camera. But honestly, guys, please make this dish. Thank you so much for allowing me to show you how to make chips, cheese, and gravy. If you like this episode, which I know you did, click the like button below, subscribe to this channel, tell everyone you know about the Brilliantly British food on this channel, and I will see you next time.